Hello, my name is Kim Davis. In Unit 14, we are going to complete our last screencast for ATM 101 by discussing the weather conditions we analyzed in Unit 13. In Unit 13, we compared 2 weeks of weather in Valdez and Northway. The weather observations were from January 29th through February 4th, 2018, and March 19th through March 25th, 2018. Valdez is located in a maritime climate region, while Northway is in a continental climate region. As the crow flies, Valdez and Northway are only 200 miles apart, with the Wrangell Mountains separating the two locations. Here are the temperatures for Valdez and Northway on January 30th and February 2nd. The maximum temperatures are here, and the minimum temperatures are here. And as you can see, that Northway has a larger fluctuation between the minimum temperature and the maximum temperature than Valdez does. Again, here are the temperatures for Valdez and Northway on March 19th and 24th. Again, the maximum temperature, minimum temperature, the fluctuation between the two, Northway has a greater fluctuation in temperature than Valdez does. This is due to the maritime climate. The maritime climate is a more mild climate than continental climates. The maritime climates has a large body of water next to it and has a higher level of precipitation in that area, and the air itself just tends to hold more water due to the large bodies of water against the land, versus in the continental climates, they don't have the ability to draw from a large body of water, and so their temperature range is greater. Also noted that Valdez is much warmer of a climate than Northway, and this also has to do with the ocean holding in more warmth than the land holds in. So the ocean absorbs more heat than the land, and that's why you have the warmer climates at the maritime versus the continental climates. The highs and lows of Valdez are relatively consistent with the average temperatures experienced throughout the year in Valdez. Northway also is, for the most part, right on track with the average of the highs and lows, except for about right here, kind of went straight up versus a nice curve, and then it had a less gradual fall, and on this side here, it had an increase at a less gradual level. For the week in January, you'll notice that there is definitely changes in temperature and quite a bunch of different changes in the barometric pressures, and then you can see that the dew point and the RH are changing. On January 30th, you have a low pressure system butted up almost to both of the two locations, and then you've got high pressure pushing on in, and as you can see on Friday, the high pressure system has moved in closer to the two locations, causing a change in temperature and pressure at both of the locations. In January, at both locations, with a change in fluctuation in temperatures, dew point, and with the pressure, I would say that during this time, both locations were reflecting a diurnal cycle. In March, Norway definitely reflects a diurnal cycle, and it's much more pronounced than it was back in January. You got the fluctuation in temperatures, and then the fluctuation in the pressure. Prevailing winds can very well influence the climate by pushing air masses around. In March, the observations on the 19th, both locations experienced northerly winds, and there was thick clouds and high humidity. On the 24th of March, both locations experienced easterly winds, and there was clear skies and low humidity. The change in wind direction and speed pushed away the air masses that were sitting in the locations, changing up the weather. Towards the end of the week of March 2018, you notice that there's lower temperatures in both Valdez and in Northway. This can be attributed to the divergence wind aloft and the convergence aloft. The convergence aloft is the one that's really causing this one, because the increase in circulation causing the air to sink, and which would be the colder air, causing the temperatures to decrease. The divergence aloft earlier in the week, it causes decreasing circulation and the air to be drawn upward, providing like a lifting mechanism. Of the two locations, I think that Northway would be more sensitive to possible climate change. The reason I say this is because it doesn't have the mild temperatures and weather that Valdez tends to have on a year-round basis. With the open port, they still have a lot of the warmer waters and the water absorbing more heat, where Northway is a continental climate, and it is less likely to have the more stable conditions that Valdez has. This is the end of my screencast. Have a great summer.